Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittany. If you're new here, please subscribe for more bookish content. Today we are going to be going through my November reading wrap up. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first book that I read in November was Saving Six, which is the fourth book in the Boys of Tommen series. I really love this book. I rated it 5 stars. Boys of Tommen series is like a high school sports romance, but it follows like really serious topics such as abuse and addiction. And this book follows Zoe and Malloy's relationship. Zoe, if you don't know, is Shannon's brother from the first 2 Boys of Tommen books. And he struggles with addiction. He has a very rough upbringing and with an abusive father and everything like that. And it just follows his relationship with Malloy, who is a girl that goes to high school with him. They have been flirting with each other for like 4 years, but never have gotten together. She's dating someone else, and they just have the best, cutest banter, and you can just tell that they're like so in love with each other, but they never get together. And then finally they do get together, and it just follows their relationship. And it also goes through Joey having to deal with his addiction and his family problems and how that kind of starts to deteriorate their relationship. So I'm very excited to read the second book follows them, which is called Redeeming Six. I'm gonna read that next, but I really enjoyed it, and if you like angsty romance books, then I would highly recommend it. And I read The Right Move by Liz Tomforty. This is the second book in the Windy City series. Really enjoyed this book as well. I rated it 3 stars. Fake dating trope, roommates to lovers, and the MMC is a professional basketball player. Basically, his sister convinces him to let her friend move in who needs a place to live. Her boyfriend just cheated on her. She thought she was gonna marry this guy, and he had an affair on her, and so she needs a place to live. And Stevie, who is his sister, convinces him to let Indy move into his apartment. He has like a big apartment, and he's not always there because he's like touring because he's a basketball player and everything. And so he agrees, and it's about their relationship. It's really cute. I rated it 3 stars just because I felt like I enjoyed it in the beginning, and then I felt like 50% of the way through it felt like the story was like coming to an end and that it should be over. But then it kind of just seemed like there was just more conflict that kept getting added at the end just to like to draw the story out more. It kind of felt like to me. I was getting a little bit bored. It was getting a little bit redundant, the miscommunication issues and like the third act breakup and all of that, and I just felt like it was drawn out and too long. So that's why I rated 3 stars. But I still enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy it as much as I loved Mile High. I really loved that couple and just adored that story, but it also might have just been in the perfect mood for it at the time. And I'm definitely going to still be continuing the Windy City series, so I highly recommend it if you are interested in reading a sports romance. It is spicy, I will say. Sometimes I just felt like I just needed to skip the spicy scenes because I was just like, okay, again, we need to go through this again. I don't know. I don't like books with too much spice, and I would say it's a little bit too much spice for my personal preference. But anyways, that was the second book I read in November. And then I read A Letter to Whiskey. Finally, I've been having this on my TBR for the longest time. Like, it's been on my TBR like all summer, and I finally got around to reading it, and it is a standalone angsty romance. It was so freaking good. It was my favorite book that I read this month, and it's like up there with like my favorites of like all time toxic romance books. Very angsty romance. It basically follows B and Jamie. They met it starts with them in high school, and Jamie is dating B's best friend in high school, and she has like the biggest crush on him. And then it follows them into college, and it follows them after college and into their like professional lives, and it's just so freaking good. And it's like They are soulmates. They're destined for each other. Their relationship, like when they're together, it's just electric, so much chemistry. And then there's always just something, a hurdle or something that is keeping them apart, keeping them from getting together. And it's such a frustrating, like, emotional roller coaster of a book, but I love books like that. Like, I love books that just make you just so invested, and that's how that book is. It is so freaking good. I will rant and rave about this book for a while, but I don't want to give it away, but basically those are the vibes. And then I didn't even know this, but like I finished A Love Letter to Whiskey, and then at the end, after like the author's note and everything, it said that after like 5 years after she released A Love Letter to Whiskey, she was getting like people saying that they wanted more of the story or whatever, and so she released Love Whiskey, which was Jamie's perspective, because the whole A Love Letter to Whiskey was all written from B's point of view. It's not dual point of view. And so she released Jamie's perspective. So it's the same story, but it's all told from Jamie's perspective, but then you get a little bit more of the story after at the end. So it's kind of like an epilogue book too. But I love that book. It's so good. 5 stars. Those are all the books I read. I'm kind of counting A Love Letter to Whiskey and Love Whiskey as 2 books, even though I tried to look up like if you can buy just Love Whiskey by itself, but I did not see it. I'm pretty sure that maybe it was just like a special edition book that had that added to the end, but it's not actually a book itself. So, but I'm counting it as 2 books because it literally starts over from chapter 1 and goes on to an epilogue. So those are the 4 books that I read in November. December is the last month of 2025. Crazy that we are already almost done with this year. And I have a few more on my like 10 before the end that I need to get to before the end of the year. So far I have read, let me just lift it up so y'all can see it, 54 books this year so far. The goal was 60. So I don't know that I'm going to be able to meet that unless I read like 2 thrillers or something so that I can finish them earlier, but I'm probably going to be like too short of what I need because I usually read like 4 books a month. But right now I'm reading Ricochet. It's the second in the Addicted series, the Addicted Calloway series. It's a toxic romance as well. It's basically this couple that enables each other's addictions. One of them's a sex addict and one of them's a alcoholic, and the second book is really getting into them trying to cope with their addictions and move past their addictions and like get clean basically. And they're kind of separated right now and just trying to get better for themselves. And so that's kind of what the book is following right now. And it's also getting more into Lily, who's the main female character's sisters, and you're getting more of her relationship with her sisters and like them and their partners and everything. So I'm enjoying it so far. I think it's going to get even better, but that is one of the books I'm reading in December. I also am going to probably read Taming 7 for sure because I really want to see what happens. I just love that series, so I'm wanting to read that probably next. And then I'm going to probably continue the Windy City series as well and read the next one in that book, which I think the next one is it follows a baseball player. They did a little introduction to him in The Right Move, but it's a baseball player and I'm pretty sure it's like him falling in love with his nanny. So single dad, nanny, those are the tropes. And then I really want to, if I don't get to it in December, probably read it in January, but I really want to read The Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings. Jessa Hastings is one of my favorite authors. She wrote the Magnolia Park series, which is my favorite like series that I read this year, which is also toxic romance, a lot of drama, beautiful love stories she writes. So I really want to get to this book if possible. And then those are like the major ones that I really want to read, and then I'm gonna kind of figure out what book I want to read. Maybe a thriller. If you wanted Frida McFadden's books, or another Lucy Foley book, or Colleen Hoover. Or if you have any recommendations for like a romantic thriller or like a mystery thriller that you think I would like, leave them in the comments. But please let me know what books you plan to read before the end of the year, and I will see you in my next video.